It's another Manly Monday, and this Manly Monday, yes, I am wearing a Gears of War shirt. I never wear this shirt in public now because people don't know what it is, but it's cool. Some of these shirts are really getting old. This one's hanging in much better than my God of War shirt. My God of War 3 shirt is getting so full of holes. It's sad, but I love it. Anyway, we're gonna talk today about stuff that men do not get to experience because they're men. And therefore, it can skew men's perspective. Let me get a little more light in here. There we go. I look a little less deathly pale now. But it skews guys' perception of things because if you're a guy, you often are not privy to the way women talk to each other. Because the minute a guy is around, women talk to each other differently. And it's the same the other way around. But I do think this is important to understand because it changes the calculus some. And I understand how some guys get the theories they do, but they're missing information. And I'll do the help support. Well, I'll do the TLDR and then I'll do the help support this channel. So, TLDR, women will viciously criticize each other, like savagely, like character assassination. But it's considered rude to criticize another woman in public, meaning when men are around. And that's the important calculus that guys don't get to see precisely because they're men. Help support this channel. Become a monthly patron. Patreon.com/LeannaK or buy a one-time Leanna Care session for someone who can use it but can't afford it. Coffee.com/LeannaK. Now, why do women not openly say, no, you're wrong or no, I disagree in front of men? Because it's considered mean. It's considered rude. Being wrong in the public space traditionally being where men are. We get into these single-sex spaces in this. And this is why I'm like, who the fuck thinks single-sex spaces are safe? Like women-only spaces are safe. Oh, right. The woman bullies who use those spaces to make every other woman around completely fucking miserable to get these women to do their bidding. And that is the way it works. So if you're a guy and have received really, really harsh statements from a woman, or a woman has made a statement and no other woman disagreed with her, that does not mean those other women think she was right or think she was nice. There's just this traditional feminine thing where you don't criticize or disagree with other women with men around. And that's part of the reason I started two women talking. It's more often three people talking now, but I thought it was important to have women respectfully disagreeing with each other because we don't have many examples of that. There's women agreeing because you have the sisterhood, right? Sisterhood is powerful. There's that. There's women being catty, taking, backstabby, nasty comments that men can't decode, the rare variety, or, just manipulating. And there are kind of dog whistles that women use with each other when men are around that men don't pick up on, because men would never respond to that kind of shit. If a man was like hinting, every other guy around would be like, okay, whatever. They totally miss it, right? Like, men are not trained to be tuned to these little jab, these little tiny pinpricks, like shank, like that. There are hidden blades in conversations that women are trained to pick up on that men are not. And a big part of the problem between men and women now is that a lot of women expect men to learn this shit, when I actually think that women should just be more direct. Now, the problem with this is you completely get kicked out of girl world. Hence the Gears of War t-shirt, right? Like, that's the thing. I mean, most of my career, it's been predominantly male spaces. You know, I'd be the only woman in the room, or on a good day, there'd be a whopping 3 other women. But the problem there is that it's so, you know, in back in the day, I'm not talking now, I'm talking back in the day when I started in games journalism. It was so hard to get your opinion heard when, you know, talking while female, that no one wanted to disagree with another woman because, one, you didn't want to seem unsupportive. It was hard. It was hard to speak up because the likelihood is you'd get dismissed with a side of made fun of. But there was also the fact that if 2 women disagreed, especially disagreed rather passionately, the guys didn't know how to handle it. They'd freak out and try to fix the problem. And it became such a fucking shitstorm that everybody's just like, well, we're never doing that again. That was fucking terrible. You know, nobody got their idea carried forward, because if there wasn't 100% consensus, everything stopped. And that's not blaming men, because, you know, men are raised to, if, you know, women go, whimper, oh, you're supposed to leap to solve the problem. A little bit of internalized misandry there. No, let women, if 2 guys were, now this is a guy code thing, right? Because men aren't used to guys ruining everybody's fun. So it might be that you come from places where if 2 guys started arguing, someone would step in and go, hey guys, take it outside, or something like that. That never happens among groups of women, because it's very rare anyone will say something directly. You know, it's very rare someone will say, you know, I really don't think that that was cool of you to do that. It's I can't even do it. I don't speak the language, you know. It's this nasty kind of, well, someone's struggling or something like that. Like it's the Glinda stuff in Wicked. You know, yes, I'm so nice, when she's actually being horrendously selfish, but everybody was supposed to agree with her because she's popular, you know. And this is not, guys have hierarchy, definitely. But women have hierarchy in the way that the queen bee never tells you she's the queen bee. It's always, well, that's not nice, or that's selfish, or that's ugly, or that's not in fashion. It's never, I don't like it. It's objectively wrong. And women have this thing where there aren't good actions or bad actions. There are good women and bad women, good girls and bad girls. And this has a very real charge, because men, especially men who have online discussions about gender, think there is this sacred protection for every woman. And, you know, this knowledge comes because I'm fortunate enough to talk to some men about this. Like, I learned this way. But there is not sacred protection for all women. Not all women have the cultural value of being kept safe. Only the good ones, of which I am not one. If I get assaulted, I deserve it. because I'm not a good girl. I'm a pick-me. And I'm and you know, all these, I've internalized misogyny and all that stuff. All those little digs that the Sarkeesian types took at me circa around 2014, 2015. Those weren't just ridiculous accusations founded in no fact. Those were reasons to not give me the same support and protection that, say, an Anita Sarkeesian or a Zoe Quinn got. Those were good girls. Those were girls deserving of protection and safety. Me? Fuck that bitch. And that's why those words sort of, you hear them in hip hop, like, I'm that bitch. Because, yeah, black women are exempt by default. And that's why I don't get why, I mean, those pop feminist types wrap themselves in the flag of intersectional feminism, meaning including cultures other than, you know, white ones. But they really don't, because I was raised partially with Afro-Caribbean socialization, which is why I'm not a good girl. I'll kiss my teeth and go, excuse me, what? It's way more direct. All that stuff that women don't do to each other, black women, and it happens. Like, it just happened. You hear, oh, it's going down, right? Oh no, someone's gonna get called out. And that's what I was used to, right? That was school. That was everywhere outside the house. Inside the house, no, total polite whiteness. It was a struggle. It was difficult because I'm like, okay, this, yeah, everybody calls everybody out. Everybody's like, what? Like, just say it. That made sense to me. But oh no, that is not proper girling. And so all that, you know, I'm that bitch in hip hop, that's sort of a tip of the hat. Like, I see you, polite society. Yeah, you don't care if I'm safe. That's why Believe Women did not apply to Megan Thee Stallion or Rihanna when they got physically assaulted by men, right? And even, okay, so then we believed them because there was evidence. But oh, don't ruin his career. You know, Chris Brown probably should have had more punishment than he did. Tory Lanez went to jail at least. But, you know, it's not like, you know, Jonathan Major's nice white girlfriend. And this shit matters. This shit matters. This is the reason why I push back against women who call me a pick-me. Because that disadvantages Black and Latino women. And apparently there's been stuff with Assassin's Creed Shadows about Naomi being white adjacent and therefore she has privilege and shit. It's like, fucking spare me. There's just like, no. We have to start calling it what it is. That women, cultures that encourage women to be more direct, the result is they are seen as not women. And this goes all the way back to Sojourner Truth and Ain't I a Woman, right? It is rooted in the fact that, I mean, what are the colors of housekeepers, right? And housekeeper is a nice word. They used to be called slaves. But it's also the fact that aggression is seen as unfeminine, except if it's passive aggression, right? Cattiness, I explained to a few guys that the manipulative woman, the idea that women manipulate, it's not seen as a good thing, but it is seen as normal. It's the comparative stereotype to men are predators. It's not seen as good, but it's seen as normal. So, you know, if men behave in ways that are not seen as good, but are seen as normal, they actually get more license to do it. Look at a lot of top government officials now. Then men who do things that are supposedly more virtuous, but are seen as less manly. And this is the problem for men right now, right? There's all these codes, and women are trained in these codes. This is what women do instead of like learning Magic the Gathering and Warhammer 40K and, you know, how to build a computer. This shit. Someone said this, but you can't take that literally. They seem nice. They seem to be giving you a compliment. Like, oh, that's such a nice dress you're wearing today. That is not a compliment. That was a dig. That is. You usually look like shit. And someone who isn't attuned to that code just thinks someone said, oh, that's a nice dress you're wearing today. Right? It's these little subtle inflections that we're starting to see more of it in men. We see a shit ton of it in male characters written by women. Read Harry Potter and A Court of Thorn and Roses. Those are some catty men right there. Oh my God. The Rhys and Tamlin dialogues. Like, you read it and go, no man in the real world would ever, like there's a scene where the two of them get into an I fucked her better fight. And that is not the way men tend to talk. There are ways, but not the way it was written. That would be considered totally like misogynist shit if two men got into it that way. But women get into those fights all the time when men aren't around. And that's the problem, that men are being expected to know how women act around each other when men are not around. So that woman who says something really shitty to you, like the typical, the canceller, the woman who records a video of a guy making an awkward approach and then puts the video on social media to mock him. That particular woman is doing that to women too. And let's face it, she's the one that tends to be popular with guys because she's high status, right? If you don't want, it's funny because that's the thing that men think women are, that whole 80-20 thing. No, the 80-20 thing is what guys under a certain maturity do. All the guys are going after the hot woman. And the hot woman is like impossible, right? There's got to be enough money already there. Maybe it's not hers, but it's the Glinda. Even though Alphaba's a better person, no. No. Those aren't the type of women. Quite the opposite that men are clamoring to have centered. And when you want something in media, you are centering it in society. So these demands that the women who are most likely to treat you like shit because they are conventionally attractive and they know it because they have spent every fiber in their being that way. The brilliant thing about Wicked is that Popular is Galinda's I Want song. And she's acting like she's doing it for Elphaba. It's fucking brilliant. Oh my God. Wicked is one of the best constructed musicals out there. So good. Like, they disguise the I Want song. Because, oh no, she's popular. She doesn't want anything. But, she's announcing exactly what she wants. Conformity. You're gonna be popular if you do everything I tell you, right? It's brilliant. It's brilliant. If you're centering that woman, you are bringing all the bad down on you. Do not go for that woman. That is the woman who is most likely to record you and mock you, making an awkward advance. Don't do it. And unfortunately, in some circles, the girl with, the purple, if a woman looks like a Scott Pilgrim character, risk is high, because every single one of those women were idealized somehow, even nails. So that's a good test. If a woman looks like a Scott Pilgrim character, probably avoid, right? Because those are still highly, highly idealized feminine tropes. And that's why they're in that media. And this is the shit thing that happens because of the pandering in media to men. Every woman there is high status somehow. And that's why the whole not beautiful cliche ends up in stuff for women. They always put the not popular girl in because nobody's rooting for the popular girl. Like, hi, she wants a guy and gets him. That's it. And then she doesn't appreciate him and dumps him and humiliates him because that's what you're just supposed to do. That's what her mother did. That's what her grandmother did because they too were popular, right? Or you're pretending to be. You don't want that. The reason these girls are popular is because they are savage. If a woman is popular, it means she's manipulating and coercing the other women in her circle because no one will call her on a crap. A lot of the stuff in gaming makes sense, right? It's the whole mean girl dynamic. And what's the only way Wicked sort of saves that, this idea that it's about a friendship between Alphaba and Galinda, is because we sort of know how it ends badly. Because the truth is that those two women really can't be friends. Alphaba can never be Galinda, and Galinda can never be Alphaba. Completely different animals. But the problem now is even the Alphabas might treat you like crap because all the messaging is that no guy will want you. So any guy who seems interested in you just wants to use you. He will use you for cheap sex, then dump you and lie about everything. Because who would want you? All men want the blonde in pink, right? And some guys are like, no, I don't want that. But come on, Nails from Scott Pilgrim is just the purple hair in goth, right? There's a reason that I just learned about the Menhara trope. There's apparently a fashion style in like Japanese culture, like a trope that's the crazy girl, the high maintenance crazy girl, and looks like a Scott Pilgrim character, right? People gravitate to the tropes that will get them what they want. And if you are laser focused on that high status feminine trope, if you are looking for a girlfriend who connotes social status instead of somebody who shares your interests and has, more importantly, the same core values as you, it's not going to go well. It doesn't matter how popular she is. She's going to treat you like shit, man. She is. That's just the straight truth. I'm telling you, because I talk like a fucking guy. And, if your friends make fun of you for the girl you legitimately click with, fuck them. Oh, but they're my friends. Well, that's a problem with male socialization because, again, nobody calls out the bullshit in that shit. And that shit is bullshit. But if a woman seems like, oh God, she's perfect, she's just like this. I faked it when I did all the pinup modeling. Okay, I got into that because I'm like, this is absurd. I want to understand this. It did not come naturally to me. Gears of War shirt, okay? But I'm not considered attractive. I'm considered ugly. Do you see the problem? Yeah. It's stupid. It's this ridiculous set of extremes that is this continuous cycle that nobody can get out of. So how do we break it? Well, first of all, like who you like, not and ask yourself, do I really like this person? Or do I like the status that comes with them? Because if this seems like the type of woman who's going to publicly shame you on Instagram, you don't really think that that person has the same core values as you. You know, that is somebody you approached because of a look or something or other thing that denoted status, right? That is not somebody you got to know. And I really do emphasize getting to know someone at least a little bit. Like, ask a few values-driven questions, you know, before taking that step into suggesting dating. And it doesn't have to take a long time to kind of get a sense of somebody if you are having meaningful conversations that are values-driven, you know, and that requires offering certain information of yourself and possibly getting rejected. And I'm telling you, it's better to go, well, I think this. You know, the guys who hide their political opinions on dating profiles or hide their hobbies on dating profiles. I'm not a big fan of that. I know there are people who will say, oh yeah, do that because you'll get more matches. But the point of dating profiles is not to get you a lot of choice. The point of dating profiles is to make the rejection passive. You know, getting no matches is not some woman humiliating you on Instagram, right? That's the purpose of it. When you think of it that way, it's like, okay, who are you? Are you giving enough of yourself to attract somebody who thinks the things you think are cool too? You must love my stuffed opossum. That sounds weird. But seriously, the reason I keep my background like this, I keep thinking, hey, maybe I should make my background more professional. And then I think, no, because it's a filter. If somebody goes, oh, that's weird, or if somebody is making like shit comments about it, it's like never working with that person. They're not my people. Deranged opossum people are my people. These are my people. Okay? I found this fucked up monkey, but I might use that for Wellness Wednesday too. It's a fucked up monkey, right? Like it's a jazz hands monkey, but anyway, it's a stuffed toy as well. But like, this is me and this is the shit I like. And I decide to just go, yeah, I'm gonna wear, I think this fucking thing's 15 years old, this shirt, but I'm gonna wear a 15 years old Gears of War shirt and have a stuffed opossum and have a stuffed, like terrifying ass stuffed Slimer that I bought cause it's fucking, that thing is scary. You'll notice a trend, like scary motherfuckers, right? I don't internally scream, I externally scream. You put that stuff out there, this is why women like artists. This is why women like musicians. It says something. You have some idea. Find your equivalent of bat wings. They stick out all over the place and they're sensitive subjects. Find it. And the bigger you can be that way, the better. Because then people will come and talk to you. You know, maybe not, hey, baby, you want to go out? No, that's not usually what's going to happen. But they'll come out and they will go, hey, I like your whatever, possum, right? You know, part of the reason that people, hire me as a creative coach or a peer counselor is because I'm a known commodity. I don't shit on furries. I like video games. You know, I understand the internet. That kind of shit. I have to put myself out there so people will decide it's a good fit. And that's the beautiful thing about doing the stuff on the internet alongside all the other crap, right? that's the idea. Do your thing. Be big. Because that idea that women cannot not like something in public, that idea that a woman can't say, I don't like that, please stop, without being labeled a bitch. No kidding. That's what gets you labeled a bitch now. I don't like that. Please stop. What a bitch. That's a pretty fucking low bar, which is why I don't like the word. It's just a shutdown word. Incel's the same, right? There's a lot of words like that. Don't like them. Annoying, creepy. They do mean something. But the definition has so expanded that it's just something amorphous that you're not supposed to be. So if someone calls you it, you should stop immediately. And no, I will not. I will not play that game. And so, yeah, I'm not hot. I'm not attractive. You know, people are going to think you're creepy. So don't approach those people, right? Because I guarantee you, those particular women, not all women do this. Absolutely not. The minority of women do this. But those women do tend to clump together because it is expected of them. And they do tend to be the ones that get more male attention. Precisely because they see what men think is hot. And they do that. Ironically, the women who criticize other women for being pick-me's are the biggest fucking pick-me's on the planet. They just know that the proper popular step is wait for a man to pick them, meaning pay attention to them, and then act like it's dangerous and scary and, oh no, this is bad. So there's no responsibility at all, ever. There are women out there who own their shit. You're just not noticing them because they're not on this merry-go-round. Well, how do I know? Well, hey, join a book club, right? Talk to women about something other than the response they have given your dick. No, seriously, if you just cold open with a pickup line, that is how it reads. Get to know the person. That does not mean that that woman you find fabulously physically attractive is a shit person. You just gotta filter from something other than that. Like, sure, unicorns exist, you know? Just because I'm not one of them doesn't mean they don't exist, but you gotta not be so led around by body parts that stick out, be it your nose or something else, that you miss the signs that if a woman is publicly humiliating guys, that's not cool. And just because a bunch of other people on the internet will go, yeah, you go, girl power. Wait a bit. Nobody puts something out like that without getting extreme responses. So yeah, there's a lot of praise, but there's going to be a lot of criticism as well. You know, it's very rare that my haters can review bomb a video below 50%. So even my least popular video didn't hit Trump's current approval ratings, which, you know, the success on social media is about concentration. It's about people who will pay you money and give you stuff, not people necessarily agreeing with you. Polarization sells. I don't do it just deliberately, just because I don't play that game. I'm not going to deliberately upset someone just for clicks. If I say something upsetting, at least you can rely on the fact that I do believe it. I could have my mind changed, but I believe it in that moment. Seeking out authenticity, seeking out somebody who might rub you the wrong way, who might be annoying, who might seem ugly at first. That is because they are challenging you. That is because they are being honest. That is because they are not trying to be perfect. Maybe consider that a good thing because they're not the ones cutting up other women the way they're talking to men. You won't see it, because of that unspoken girl world code. I'm one of the few stupid people who will take cracks at these women online because I know what's gonna happen to me. It's like I call it the Wolverine method. You know how Wolverine's like snick attack, he's the first one to get knocked out in the old 90s X-Men cartoons? Like, that's the technique. That I know exactly what I'm doing, and I'm only doing it because I do not give a shit. I don't care if men like me. I don't care if women like me. I care about right, and I care about somebody saying it, and I care about changing this goddamn paradigm that is just trade-offs of internalized misandry and internalized misogyny with externalized misandry and externalized misogyny. We must stop playing the game if we don't like these rules. And yeah, it means we'll be kicked out. But my attitude is that with cancellation, so many people get canceled that there's going to be more of us than there are of them at some point. And that's when leopards start eating faces, right? So, yeah. Change your assumptions from this is stuff that these women only do to men. The women who do this stuff savage other women in single-sex spaces, which is why I don't think single-sex spaces guarantee safety for women. Yeah, it's a topic for another time. Help support this channel. Become a monthly patron. Patreon.com/LeannaK. Patreon support super, super important, but also coffee. Buy a one-time Leanna Care session for someone can use it but can't afford it. There is so much demand right now, including from men who have had to, move living circumstances very quickly because of abusive situations. So I am not charging them in the transitional period. Coffee.com/LeannaK. Thanks for watching Manly Mondays.